Today I'm going to help your gear get noticed while it's in the IFTD New Product Showcase. We've seen great gear get overlooked time and time again. In this video, we'll give you step-by-step instructions to make sure your gear gets noticed and voted on while in the New Product Showcase. We've been covering new products at ICAST for the last 4 years. We know how competitive the New Product Showcase can be. You've got big brands with ambassadors, employees, all sponsoring their product. You've got mid-level brands who have ingrained networks and have been there for years. And then you've got the young startup who's just looking to carve out some space in their market. A win in the New Product Showcase can mean a lot to any of these brands. So how do you separate your product from the noise? Step one is creating a story. Great product stories start with the people using the product, not the product itself. When telling the story of your product, don't focus on the technical details like how much a reel weighs or how many inches a rod bend in a stress test. People don't really care about that kind of stuff. They really want to know how your product can help them catch more fish. When building buzz around your product, a great story can help you effectively communicate how your product solves a problem. Step two is identifying targets who are going to be at the show. Start with the ones you know. People in your network, your customers, friends in the industry, and then expand from there. Find the blogs in the industry who are typically there, the media people, for example, we'll be there for Angling Trade covering product, and then look for brand influencers, people who have large followings who are typically there for other reasons. And then at this point, it's really a good idea to start formalizing a plan on how you're gonna follow up with all these people. A good idea is maybe to download a CRM. There are a ton of them out there. We're particularly fond of the one at HubSpot. I've got a link for where you can go to start using that in the description below. But it's a great tool to really allow you to see how people are interacting with your emails, which people are opening them, clicking through to a website. It's a great way to find out what's happening with these messages that you're sending out to these people. Now that we have identified our audience and have a system to track our interactions, let's fire off a quick informal email asking them if they will be at the show and letting them know to be on the lookout for a new entry in the New Product Showcase. Step three, start building buzz early by creating a campaign. The worst thing you can do is to show up at IFTD and not done any pre-marketing for your product. It's important to start generating interest ahead of the show by developing a creative campaign. We've put together a simple planner on our site that can help you lay the groundwork for your campaign. It has target dates for emails and asset creation that you can use to stay on schedule. Getting started early is critical to success. One of the easiest ways you can build buzz is to actually send your product to influencers in the field. This gives them an opportunity to get familiar with your product, use it in the field, figure out what they like and what they don't like. And that way when they come to the show, you can have an educated conversation with them about your product. They've already used it, they know how it works. And when they see it in the New Product Showcase, they can feel comfortable voting for it because they've used it in the field, they know how it works, and they know what to expect when it gets released into the wild. Of course, your campaign is going to be limited by time and budget, but one of the easiest things you can do is to send an email. Back out specific dates from the show. In our calendar, we recommend that you send an email at least 1 month prior and 1 week prior to the show. Send it to the audience that you identified in step 2 of this video. Be creative, be excited, build that interest through the creative assets in the email. Let them know the product's going to be there. They definitely want to come and stop by the booth and check it out. Send it out to that audience, track and see what happens when they open the email. Another simple idea to build that buzz is to shoot a quick video. It doesn't have to be a production value video of what you're trying to launch. Maybe you shoot an interview with the product designers. Let them talk about some of the really cool features that they wanted to add in the new product. Maybe ask them what problems do these things solve, getting back to that story. All those kind of video ideas can be very simply shot. You don't need a lot of production value, but they go a long way to kind of build that buzz and really get an inside scoop on what your product's about and start, keep building that buzz. Time allows, it'd also be a really good idea to build a landing page for the new product. The landing page would be a spot where you could send people from the email. You could then track how they're interacting with that page. You could potentially have them download something. You could just kind of store all of your assets on that landing page so that people know this is a special product. They have special preview access to this product when you send out these emails, and they can go to the web page to learn more. Step 4, hold their attention as long as possible. Don't give away everything in all these assets that we're creating. It's important to keep some stuff in your back pocket so that when people come to your booth, they want to learn more. They want to see what's really happening with this new product. They want to hear more about the story, how it got developed, why it's this way. And lastly, step number 5, be flexible. When you're sending out an email and nobody's opening it, you're probably doing something wrong. It's important to monitor the data, make sure that people are actually interacting with the stuff you're sending out there. And if they're not, it's time to change. Now that we've looked at what you can do before the show, Let's take a look at some steps you can take during the show to increase your visibility. Step 1, have some incentives for voting. I know it sounds cheesy, but trust me, everybody's doing it. You could buy them some beers, you could actually walk them back to the booth, show them where your product is in the new product showcase. Be creative, but don't be afraid to twist an arm to get a vote. Step 2, using the CRM that we created earlier, hopefully you should have a really good idea of who's gonna be at the show. So let's make sure we use that CRM to monitor who's already come by the booth. Really use that technology to your advantage while you're at the show and make sure that your product is getting as much visibility as it really should. Step 3, have product takeaways. Make sure you've got a small brochure, maybe even a product sample. Keep it simple, keep it small. People don't want to be walking around with giant bags of stuff at IFTD, so make sure your brochure is something that they can just shove in their pocket and take with them. And lastly, don't look desperate. It's a really fine line here that you're walking, but if you've got a great product, you've worked on the story, you've done a lot of the pre-marketing, you've done all the stuff ahead of time, you're gonna get the attention, you're gonna get the votes. You don't need to look like you're begging for them at the show. So be careful with that. I know it's going to be tricky to kind of walk that balance. I've been there for a couple of years. I can tell when the people are getting desperate and when they're pulling out those last measures. And I think you know what those are too. So don't look desperate when you're at the show. All right, so lastly, the show's over. After the show, hopefully we made some good progress and you got some votes and you won the product showcase. Even if you haven't, use that CRM, take advantage of the contacts that you reach out to. Tell them thank you for stopping by the booth. Make sure that they know that you appreciate them coming by, and really just keep building that network for next year. So hopefully these tips and these ideas have helped you kind of understand what it takes to get your product noticed when you're at IFTD. It's a lot of work up front, but if you do the planning right, you create that story, it really kind of takes care of itself, and you'll have a successful show at IFTD.